Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Sandy Bottom Homestead. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And as we get closer to May, it rhymes, we will be doing a lot in our garden. So we're going to be doing some more planting. I'm going to go over that. But because the planting level is going to be lower and there's going to be a more active time as far as managing different things in the garden, I'm also going to talk about that. So I don't know. I probably won't break it out. It's just going to be all intertwined together and all that stuff. But yeah, this is May, what we're doing in our garden in May. Now the first stop is going to be in the wild garden. We've got this bed back here that I've kind of flip-flopped a lot about what I wanted to put in it. I wanted to put, so right now it's got some radishes, just some like stuff that I just kind of threw in the garden, nothing major. And I wanted to put some squashes in here, and I think I had a change of heart. I mean, look, you can change your mind, right? That's the beauty of this whole thing. So these two beds here are going to be now melons. And this one gets more sun. This is where the carrots are, so they're growing. Hopefully we'll be harvesting at least half of them this month, and then the next month or later on we'll be doing the other half, or maybe, I don't know how it's gonna work, to be honest. Carrots are kind of difficult to kind of judge when they're done. So this one, and we're gonna go ahead and assume it'll be like the end of May, we're gonna end up putting watermelons in this bed. And then this bed back here, it doesn't get as much sun, so it's not as active, but because of the time of year it is where we're coming up into the summer solstice, there's more and more sunlight every day. It does get a fair amount of sun, and it starts to get early sun to about mid-afternoon. So we're gonna try, and I'm gonna put two things in this bed. I'm gonna put okra on the back, and then I'm gonna put cantaloupes in the front. And the okra, the only reason I'm putting those in the back is because they'll grow tall, and I don't want them to shade anything out, and they can do whatever they want back here. Obviously this thing's been blown over for like months and I haven't fixed it. Not even stressing about that thing. And then in the front we'll put the cantaloupes. And the reason why I'm putting the cantaloupes there is because I just don't care as much about cantaloupes as I do watermelon. And this bed right here gets sun longer, so we're not as worried about putting anything there. And there will only be watermelons in this bed, nothing else. And there'll be 2 watermelon plants in there. That is it. We're gonna try it out this year and see if putting just 2 plants and giving them plenty of space will help up that production a little bit. I'm curious to see how it's gonna work out. So we're gonna do that, and then this one, like I said, will be cantaloupes, which if you've never had a homegrown cantaloupe, it tastes nothing like the store. I'll go ahead and tell you, so give that a shot. Now, we may be harvesting these potatoes behind us. I have to say them like that because I get potatoes and tomatoes mixed up, if you haven't noticed on the videos. So we may be harvesting those, but it may more than likely be June for those. But it is what it is. It's not a big deal. For here, this bed, hopefully by the middle of May, we will have this bed harvested. I've let this kale go to bolt. I don't even know if I'm going to save the seed. Right now I'm just leaving it there. I can't remember if this kale was a hybrid or not. I need to go double check that before I even worry about saving the seed. If it is not a hybrid, we will continue to save the seed from it. We will let 2 of the plants grow, and I'll probably, I don't know, it depends on how we have to space them out. I don't know which 2, probably just these 2 because there's the most seeds on them. These will probably cut. Hopefully we'll get a harvest out of these. We're not 100% sure, but these cabbages will come up, and then our sweet potato slips will go into the ground. Since that's going to be starting soon, we're going to be hardening off our last thing is our sweet potato slips. They really like it warm, and it's a 90 to 100 day crop. So if we put them in May 15th, by September 15th, they'll be done. Plenty of time to get them out and get something else in. And we are going to have to do a quick turn and burn. So what I'll do is I'll clear everything out of the garden bed, and then I'll come back and I will put the alfalfa pellets down, pre-plant fertilizer, rebury the lines, and then drop those in all within the same day, maybe within the same week. I may give it a little bit of time, I may not, I haven't decided yet. But that's where the sweet potatoes will go. And then we'll come over here to this other bed. I'm walking in circles, kind of. I could have just cut through, but you know, it's not as fun. So the rutabagas can come out at any point now. We will start harvesting those now. This is a little bit before the before May, so we'll start pulling these out. The lettuces too, and then we're gonna put corn in here. So we've got 2 varieties of corn we wanna grow this year. Actually, right now I have 1 variety and I plan to get another variety, but the first variety is called Solstice, and it is a corn that has a higher probability of giving you 2 ears per plant. It's not definite, but it's a higher probability. So that's gonna be our main focus for corn. And corn is the crop that I've chosen to focus on this year to learn more about. So I'm gonna be planting those at a 6-inch spacing per row. And then after the onions come out, I think I'm gonna try and put popcorn behind it. I had some popcorn at my mom's house that I grew for her last year. She grew it, but I was basically taking care of it. And she had a little harvest and it was good. We enjoyed it. So we're gonna try and get some popcorn out of this bed and see what we can do. I don't think that's gonna be May. I think we'll end up planting this bed in June. I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll see. This trellis back here, it's got snow peas on it, and we just started harvesting our snow peas, so it's kind of weird to talk about what we're gonna be putting in next. And when I say next, I mean in a couple weeks. There's not a lot of plants on here, so if we pull these, it's not a huge deal. It was basically just a space saver. So we're gonna pull these out at some point, but I'm not gonna just pull them, I'm just gonna clip them. I'm gonna leave the roots because the roots have nodules on them that provide nitrogen when they decompose. And we're gonna put black-eyed peas on here more than likely. Actually, take that back. We're going to put cucumbers on this one. So that'll be our second round of cucumbers we put back there. Our first round is right here, and they're about that big. So you can see we do have some cucumbers going, and these are the ones that are in our seed shop if you want to check that out and help support this channel or the Backyard Gardens podcast. You can check that out. So that's something that we're going to be doing, is 2 plantings. And so this one is the straight 8 cucumber. The one over there will be the Boston pickling cucumber, which is my personal favorite. Now, we come over here, and this is where it gets a little bit different. We're going to be doing, this is where we're doing our beans. So our black-eyed peas will go on this trellis. And then over here, we're also gonna do black-eyed peas or green beans. It'll be one or the other here and one or the other here. So we'll be doing all of that in this area. Once these are our main snow pea crops, you can see we are starting to get snow peas. These are Oregon snow pea pods. So we did a harvest yesterday, and then we'll probably be harvesting these twice a week for a while. That's how long it takes them to kind of produce. Oregon pea pods are bigger, but I like to harvest them a little bit more juvenile. They're a little bit more tender when you cook them. And we like to put them with a little bit of sesame oil and fresh garlic. Whew. When I say fresh garlic, it's our garlic we saved from last year that we're finishing out, but man, it's good. So that's everything that we're planting. Now we will continue to plant and fill holes within our garden. And if we have like a square foot or two of space, we'll drop in some bush beans or something like that. Those are great space fillers. You can put those in at any time. They're a lot faster to fill or to get a harvest from than like a pole bean variety where they have to grow up a trellis. So we'll be doing that as well. So hopefully in the month of May, it'll warm up a little bit more than it is now. It's 63 degrees right now, which is not really normal for this area. But we're gonna come back and we're gonna mulch. So we're gonna mulch all of our containers. You can see we put a tomato in here. We'll mulch all of our containers. By the time that gets around, these should start bushing up a little bit, these squashes. So we will be mulching this bed as well. These are the ones we direct sowed a couple weeks ago. So you can see that our Desi squash is coming up, which is an excellent sign. So we just want that to get a little bit bigger, basically so they're about the same size as this plant. And then we can go ahead and just replant them, put them in, and then let them grow and see what happens. So mulching is very important. We're also going to be mulching the pepper bed probably towards the end of May. We want it to get nice and warm so the roots and the peppers get really warm. Then we'll start to mulch those. So not everything gets mulched at once. With the tomatoes, we want the tomatoes that we have to get bigger, and we want it to get nice and warm out. Right about the time your spring rains stop start teetering off, because it seems like every summer is like a drought or something. So that's when we'll put our mulch down, when that happens, to conserve the water. But for right now, we're just going to let it go. And before we put the mulch down, what we're also going to do is we're going to go ahead and put some more of those alfalfa pellets in that will just kind of break down over time. It's my insurance policy for nitrogen is all it is. So that'll help and just re-energize the soil as things grow and stuff like that. So we'll do that. Now in this tomato bed here, and here, the pepper bed and this bed, I may end up getting some topsoil and putting it in. I may only put 2 bags per in, just something cheap to throw down. I did mulch last year, not mulch, I did compost last year. So this year I'm gonna do topsoil. I had topped off all the other beds, but they were planted over the winter. So I just kind of want to give them some more natural juice, some extra soil, and just kind of beef it up a little bit. So we'll be doing that. And we're also gonna have to start keeping our eye out on pests. So our potato bed, will have to keep an eye out, a visual, just for like the potato beetle. And what have we got here? Uh-oh, that's not good. Oh, I don't know what that was, but that wasn't good. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And we'll probably end up doing a maintenance spray just to let this round out the season healthily. Potatoes seem to get pests here. Sometimes I can't really identify them, but I can look at the plants and tell something's going on. Right now you can see they're laying over. That's because they got tall and we had a lot of rain and wind yesterday, so they fell over. Something's been getting into the garden and digging, which is just how it is. So we'll try and just beef it up, give it a little bit more food, and just give it a nice maintenance spray, more than likely. And then for everything over here, up until planting day, we're just going to continue to keep an eye out for our normal pests. If I get some kind of cabbage worm or something like that, then what I'll end up doing is using a BT spray for that. And then this is about the time of year where our peas will end up getting aphids. So what I'll do is I'll keep a vigilant eye out for that. As soon as I see them, the first thing I do is put soapy water on them. Just dishwashing soap and a spray bottle, and spray them down and see if that'll knock them back. If it doesn't work, then I'll hit them with neem, usually 1 treatment of each, and they're gone. Same for the potato bed over here and the carrot bed. I really don't get a lot of pests with carrots, but I'll keep an eye out for what everybody talks about, the white fly. I have not had that yet, but time will tell. And the squash vine borer, will be keeping an eye out for that as well on our squash, but it's not time for that yet in my area. The squash vine borer comes out at a specific time frame, so just Google it for your state and it'll tell you when they hatch. And finally, the name of the game for the rest of the month is going to be feed, feed, feed. We want to get this whole garden off on a good foot, so we'll start feeding. We're not feeding our onions or garlic anymore. We're just going to let that finish out. So we'll be feeding everything else. And what I plan to do come about the 1st of May is I'll give it a shot of fish fertilizer. And then around the 15th of May, I'll give it another shot. And then as plants start growing in all these new beds, so like our sweet potatoes, we won't be doing as many feedings for those. We'll be putting our granular fertilizer in, but they won't be getting as much of the nitrogen and stuff like that. The corn will be getting extra nitrogen, so we'll be focusing on that. As soon as that starts to come up, we start hitting it, and that should help with our growth rate for the corn. It is a very nitrogen hungry plant. The tomatoes, same thing. We gave them a dose of fertilizer, the granular, at planting. So we'll probably come in around the end of May and give them another dose of it. And then that will help finish out. But what that'll also do is that'll help the plant finish out its growth cycle. But as we pull it and we get ready to plant something else, it's going to prime the soil for the next one. So we're kind of timing that out. But they'll be getting the fish fertilizer as well, just to kind of push a little bit more greenery and get more branches. Because we're growing determinate varieties, the branches will help produce more fruits. That's May. May is filled with a little bit of planting, a lot of maintenance, and then just really preparing for the next wave. So what are you guys doing in your gardens for May?